I really enjoyed the Golden Bachelor premiere. I thought it was really well done. I enjoyed it. I liked the way they started it out. I wrote a few notes to just make sure that I go over all of the things that I really enjoyed about it. When they started out, the very first thing he said after they did the entire introduction and told his story, the very first thing that he said was, "I'm Gary. Tonight is the first day of the rest of my life." I thought that was really nice. The way that he introduced himself and let us know that he means business. This is the first day. He's looking for a new wife. He explained what happened with his first marriage and that his wife passed away after 43 years of marriage. I know how painful that must have been. And he even cried on the air. He expressed himself for at least the first 10 minutes of the program, and I really enjoyed it. Now, after he talked about his life and his daughters and granddaughters encouraging him to try out or to apply for the position, and he did get it, after that, he went right into talking to the women that came to meet him. They had the limousine scene, and some of the scenes were really crazy. Some of them I personally did, some of the arrivals I personally did not like, but who cares what I like? That's just my opinion. That's why I really want to talk to you guys about it. What do you think? What did you think of the arrivals and how the women presented themselves? A few things caught my eye. The women who came, well, she's right there in the picture. She came and did a cheer. Everyone else was dressed up. She decided to come with that outfit on, not really presenting herself, I say, in the best way. I know that that was just part of her outfit, part of the cheer. And then the cheer itself was not, in my opinion, appropriate. He laughed at it, but I noticed he did, in my opinion, he did everything right. He wasn't disrespectful or rude to any of the ladies. One person that came and said today's her birthday and she thought she'd come in her birthday suit. He was respectful. He didn't say, "What in the world?" He presented himself well. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching him. Enjoyed watching him interact with the women. There were a few women that they just, what I refer to as fly through. They flew through these women. They showed their picture and went to the next one and the next one and the next one. There were about 5 or 6 women that they did that with. Let's see, I wrote some of their names down. Christina, Joan, Natasha, Peggy, Pamela, Kathy, Nancy. They flew through those people. They just showed their, their picture and their age and went on to the next one and the next one. And I felt at that time that these were women that were rejected or women that he really wasn't impressed with, and they didn't bother to put their entire story on, which is kind of suspect because many of the women, they put on their whole presentation, talked about the family and what they like to do, what they do for a living, what they want out of life. But for these particular women, they just flew through or flew by their story. And I wonder if it was just me or if you noticed the same thing, especially since at the end, when he was giving out the roses, several of those women did get a rose. I noticed that Joan and Natasha got a rose and Kathy and Nancy. So several of them did get a rose. So it's not that he wasn't impressed by them. For some reason, the producers did not feel the need to put on their full introduction. But I liked a lot of the things some of the women did. One woman, where is she? There she is, right. If I push back there, her. She talked about, this lady asked him to look at the heels and 6-inch heels, and that she's not afraid of 6 inches. Inappropriate. My opinion. This is Reader's Digest. I'm looking forward to hearing your opinion, but I thought that wasn't appropriate. However, she did get a rose. It, it looks like he let go of 6 women. I think so, because he kept 16 and it started out with 22. So looks like 6 of the ladies had to go. And I know some of them were heartbroken. You could tell by the look on their face. And I like what this lady here says. She told them, I hope you find what you're looking for. I thought that was a good idea. Just to be, she was polite. And they made a big, to me, they made a big deal about this lady because her son was one of the bachelors in the past, but he didn't keep her. So I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I enjoyed this segment. I like some of the things people did. One lady came out, said that she grew up on a farm and brought a basket of eggs and did the chicken dance. There are a few things that, like I said, I don't think that they're all appropriate. There she is. She's standing right next to him, right over my shoulder, right there. She did the chicken dance and then smacked her butt. Look, these aren't things I would do, but she's still there. So let's see how long she lasts, how long any of these women that did all of these crazy things did. One lady talked about her friend who was dying of cancer, or someone who had been her friend for over 60 years. And then at the end, they put her picture up and she did in fact pass away. And he liked that young lady, that woman. Oh yeah, I said young lady. Yeah, we are all young. 70 plus, 60 plus, we are still young. We've got a lot of living to do, which is why I'm glad they decided to do this show. I'm glad they decided to have the Golden Bachelor. I think that he's a nice guy. There he is. And that's the first thing I said when he presented himself in the beginning. I've seen him on TV in the past, and I like some of the things he said. In fact, I liked everything he said. He talked about the difference between being a senior who's a bachelor looking for a wife, as opposed to these younger people that are coming on looking for mates. For one thing, you don't have to ask if they want to have children. You don't have, there's certain things you don't have to look into. You know what you want. You know what type of relationship you want. And when you're trying to look for that new mate, you know what to ask. And it's completely different than the games that you play or these younger bachelors and bachelorettes play. So I'm glad that they decided to have this senior or golden bachelor. I hope they do it again. In fact, I'm pretty sure they will. Let's see how these women turn out, because with the bachelor and bachelorette, usually one of the people that didn't make it to the end is who they present as the new bachelorette. So we'll see what happens. But I'm hoping he does find what he's looking for, because he appears to be a very nice man. I tell you what I didn't like, but again, that's my opinion. Because I know that one of the things that goes on in the younger bachelors and bachelorette is all the kissing and the all of that making out stuff. I thought that we would bypass that. Well, he went ahead and let these women kiss him and he kissed them back. But again, I think that he was doing that because he's polite. He's a gentleman. He went ahead and he took the kisses. Maybe he's ranking them. I don't know what he's doing, but I do know that I wasn't expecting that. And that's one thing that he handled. I believe he handled it nicely. So many things. Let's see what else I wrote down that I didn't present. Let's see. I liked her. I liked the very first lady, Edith. I really liked her, and she's still on the show. I like that she had those things because she was the first one, and he was the first Golden Bachelor. They had the confetti that came out of the contraption that she had. What I did notice was it all of a sudden appeared in her hands. When she came out of the limousine and introduced herself to him, she didn't have anything in her hands. Next thing you know, she has them and she says, oh, we're going to do this. So even though it wasn't there from the very beginning, I like that they did have it. I think that was a nice way of starting the lineup. I like that. And I talked about just about everyone else because there were a few things that I didn't like, but it doesn't really matter. Jimmy Kimmel's aunt, when she came out, I knew that had to be a joke. She's in her 80s And it's not to say that he wouldn't be interested in someone in their 80s, but she didn't present herself as if she was serious about it. And it turns out she really wasn't. She wasn't counted as one of the 22. And at the end, they just made a joke of the fact that she was asleep on the sofa during the entire rose ceremony. And she asked, "Did I get a rose?" So it was just a little joke that they threw in there that I thought was really nice. And one thing I need to say, I watched the program with my daughter, my adult daughter. And when Faith came in on the motorcycle, we both looked at each other like, oh boy, is she really, but she's being herself. And then when she came out with the guitar, there's something my daughter noticed and she said, oh, he likes her. I said, what? She's coming out with a guitar for her introduction. Why do you say that? She said, I could see it in his eyes. He really likes her. Well, she got the first rose, the rose for the person that impressed him the most. And so my daughter picked up on something that I just completely missed, which is why I keep repeating, this is my opinion, because there's so many things that I didn't think were appropriate that probably you thought were okay, or you thought was smart, or a good gimmick. So I would like you to respond. Go ahead and subscribe and share, because I will be, let's use the word critique. I will be critiquing, not just reviewing, critiquing each episode until the end. We'll see what happens on Golden Bachelor. I'm excited about this show. I think it was a great idea. I like everything that I saw tonight. I think that the producers did a very good job with putting it together, and I really hope it continues. I'd rather see this than The Bachelor and Bachelorette. In fact, to be honest with you, I've only seen one Bachelorette program, and that's the one that just went off with Charity. I saw it, and I don't really know. I think it was the commercial with her walking with the beautiful red dress that made me want to look at it. I liked it. I liked the way she handled those young men, and I knew she was going to end up with Judson because when they did the bungee jump, there was something about that bungee jump. Just like my daughter saw something with this lady with the guitar, with Jerry, I saw something with Charity and Dudson when they did the bungee jump. So we never know. I could be right. I could be wrong. My daughter could be right. She was right tonight with that first rose. She got the first rose. He really liked her. And he told that woman that what he liked about her was that she really cared. She wasn't just there to impress him. She really cared. That's her right there, right over his shoulder. She got the first rose, and I'm glad that he gave an explanation as to why he gave her the first rose. I'm glad that my daughter was able to see that that was coming. And I'm hoping that she'll sit and watch every week with me so that when I come back and give my critique, I'll have her opinion along with my own. But don't forget, I want to hear your opinion as well. So go ahead and subscribe and share, because I want to get a little group going that can discuss this every week, especially with mature, intelligent adults that are in the same situation. How did it go? What do you think about it? What's going on? Okay. I don't know what happened to my screen. There it is. I don't know what happened. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording.